Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to Lady Khadija radiallahu anha online college. May God be pleased with her. This is A-Level Maths Year 1 and it's pure maths following the Edexcel UK and International A-Level syllabus. Today's topic is Surds. So let's go through a couple of examples. Basic principle before we go into it too much is whenever you have a square root of a number that can't really be square rooted, then what we try to do is we say, look, at least let me try to rewrite it so that the number underneath the square root is as small as possible. So let's go through how we do that with the first example, which is simplify the square root of 12. So the first thing to do is think about what numbers can be square rooted, and that means you need to know your square numbers very, very well. So let's write them on the side. We've got 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, and just make a list of all your square numbers if this is the first time you're doing this kind of topic. Then take a look at the question. It's the square root of 12, and ask yourself, can 12 be rewritten so that it's one of these square numbers times something? So is there any square number that I can pick from this list? If I times it, I'll get 12. And you want to pick the largest one possible. In this case, it's only 4. 1 doesn't really help, so ignore 1. But 4 onwards is good, so let's pick 4. So we can write the square root of 12, rewrite it as the square root of 4 times 3. 12 is the same thing as 4 times 3, so that shouldn't make any difference if I rewrite it like that. The next thing we can do is we can say, look, square roots can be applied, can be split, so that it's the square root of each thing separately. So the square root of 4 times the square root of 3. And then we can say, well, actually, the advantage of picking square root of 4 is that it's a square number, so I know that can be square rooted, so that just becomes 2. So 2 times the square root of 3. If you drop the times sign, in algebra we don't write the times sign, similarly in this topic, that just becomes 2 root 3. So the final answer is that the root 12 can be rewritten as 2 root 3. When you get good at this, you can go straight from this line to this line and then to this line. But just for now, work through the individual steps and you'll be okay. Just one other thing to notice is that if you look at the way I rewrote the 12, I could have done it 3 times 4, but it's always better to put the square number first. So 4 times 3. That'll help you a lot. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Root 20 divided by 2 is the question. Square root of 20 divided by 2. Again, start with your square number list and ask yourself, which one can I pick that I can times by something, a whole number times by it would get me 20. So in this case, it's going to be 4 again because 1 doesn't really help like before. 9's not going to times into 20, 16 isn't. So 4 is the right one. So let's make that the square root of 4 times 5. Again, 4 times 5 is just 20, so it shouldn't make a difference rewriting it like that. I've written the square number first. And now use the split, so we can split this into root 4 times root 5, all divided by 2. And then say, well, root 4 is just 2, so that can disappear and we can write 2 instead of that. And then what you notice is that 2 is at the top and 2 is at the bottom, so they cancel. Any number divided by itself is just 1. So then the final answer, almost the final answer, is 1 times root 5. Drop the times sign, 1 root 5. But anything times 1 isn't really necessary, so we can even drop the 1. So answer is root 5. Okay, now let's apply it to something a lot harder. So here we've got 5 root 6, take away 2 root 24, minus, or was that a plus root 294. So don't panic, this is just the same thing, but we're going to do it over and over 3 times. Write your square numbers. Think of the first number you see underneath the square root, and think, what square number can I pick? That means it will times, I can split that number into the square number times something. So 5 stays as 5, but root 6, let's pick, we can't really pick anything here. The 4 doesn't do it, the 9 doesn't do it, so it's just going to have to stay as 5 root 6. Let's pick the next one, so we've got 2. Root 24, we can pick the 4, so that would be 4 times 6. And for root 294, I'm thinking 81, so 80 times 3 times 3 would be 240. So here, that's not going to work. Probably a calculator might help. So let's try a couple of square numbers to see which one can divide into 294. So we've got, let's try, it's always better to go with the biggest ones. So 294 divided by 81 doesn't quite work. 294 divided by 64 doesn't quite work. 49, 294 divided by 49 does work. So it's the 49 that we want on this last one. So it's 49 times 6. Write the square number first. Okay, now let's do the split. So 5 root 6 stays as it is. Then 2 root 4 gets split, root 6. I've dropped the times sign here. You've got to be used to working without the times sign. And then root 49 would be root 49 root 6. Okay, let's work out the square roots we can. So we've got 2. Oh, actually, maybe I dropped the times sign too early. Let's put it back in. Okay, so we've got 5 root 6. 5 root 6 stays as it is. We've got 2 stays as it is, times. Root 4 can be changed to 2. Root 6 stays. Root 49 can go to 7. Root 6 stays. So now we've got 5 root 6. Take away. We know 2 times 2 is 4. So that's 4 root 6. I am going to drop the times sign now. Plus 7 root 6. Okay, now this is this is a new rule. 5 that square roots, as long as it's the same number, can just be added, just like x's. So if this question was 5x, take away 4x, plus 7x, then you wouldn't have a problem doing that. That would be 5x take away 4x is 1x, 1x plus 7x is 8x. So similarly, you can do the same thing, add and take away with square roots, as long as it's the same number in the square root. So here we've got root 6 is the same number. So if I've got 5 of them, then I take away 4 of them, then I add 7 of them, then in the end I end up with 8 of them. 8 of what? 8 root 6's. Okay, and that is the final answer. Thanks for joining me on the first lesson on Surds. See you in the next lesson. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be with you and the mercy and blessings of God.